When and how did you meet President Bill Clinton?
Yeah, I've known President Clinton since I think the early '80s. Since the very first time he ran when he was governor of Arkansas, and I've always just thought he was the most brilliant, wonderful man. He was a politician from his heart. He was the best politician I've ever met, but good.
Yes.
He wanted the right things. He wanted to do the right things, and he wanted to be the world's best politician. And I think in many respects that he really achieved that. He had a dark scar on him, but I think even in spite of that, he was one of the best presidents I thought we ever had.
President Bill Clinton nominated you for U.S. Surgeon General. Describe the nomination experience, how you felt about that.
Oh, when he first asked me to be the Surgeon General, I reminded him. I said he was not the president yet. I said, Governor, I said, you didn't know. I said, when you asked me to be your health director, I said, you didn't know what you were getting. But I said, Mr. President, I said, you know what you're getting. And he said, yeah, I know. He said, I want you to do for the nation what you did for Arkansas. And so, I think I think he knew what I was going to be about. He knew what I was going to be like before I even came to Washington. And I think that's what he wanted me to do. But, he wasn't quite aware of all the flurry and the power that was going on in Washington. And I think more than anything else, he wanted to make sure he did what was best and right for the nation. And if that meant getting rid of me, well, that was a part of what it was about. But back to the becoming the confirmation and all of that, after we had that talk, so just he and I said, Bill Clinton selected me to be the Surgeon General. He didn't have a committee. He didn't have
that
he had
the president's decision.
That was the president's decision.
And you were the first African American, weren't you?
Yes.
And first African American woman, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Were you the first woman?
No. Dr. Antonio Novello, a Hispanic woman, was the first woman to be the Surgeon General. Okay. But I never expected to the confirmation process to be as, I don't know, as very different. Yeah, it isn't like they were trying. I felt that the politicians was really trying to find out information to make sure they picked a good Surgeon General. I felt that they were really just trying to, if you will, cut me apart. And I don't think they were doing me any different than they would have done anybody else. I don't mean in that sense. I tell people, I say, I went to Washington feeling that I was prime steak. I said, but by the time they got through with me, I felt that I was low-grade hamburger. But it was. I said, I feel that the only person who can really go through their process would be Jesus Christ, and I'm not sure about him. But it's a very grueling process, and I feel that if it continues like this, we won't have the best people serving because nobody would go through that kind of grind.
Yes.
For the job.
Yes. Do you think that there were any racial reasons for this? Okay, but you're saying this has spilled over to other people who have to go before Congress and so forth. Yes.
No, I never felt at all that it was racial, but I felt it was more conservative versus liberal.
That's right. So, the Republicans were in charge at the time.
That's right. So I never at any time felt that it was related to race. It may have been, but I didn't feel that part of it.
I see.
But see, they had all of this other, the Republican conservatives versus the liberal Democrats. So why Why resort to race?
Yes, and of course they knew your views about sex education.
That's right.
That's what it was too, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
You see, I had been in 38 different states before I became the Surgeon General.
Yes.
And so, again, many legislators had had me come to speak to their group to try and get in the school-based clinics to do some of the things that I had been talking about here. And I'd spoken to the National Governors Association, got the National Governors Association Award. So they already knew. And, and all the different organizations, the Religious Right and the Christian Coalition and all, had already been to Arkansas trying to talk to our legislators to undermine what I was trying to do.